All right, FightHype.com, Sean Tell. Pleasure to be joined with the undisputed, undefeated super lightweight champion of the world, Josh Taylor, getting ready for the first title defense, a homecoming against undefeated Jack Catterall, live on ESPN+. Josh, man, just to get right into it, Catterall, a tricky fighter, a southpaw, just like yourself. Are you worried at all at this guy coming to play stinker?
I ain't got no worries at all, no worries or concerns. I've prepared diligently. I've done a lot of homework on Jack. With myself and the team, Ben and I, and Lee Wiley, we've done a lot of work on what we think is going to work, and we think we know what he's going to bring to the table. But we're prepared for anything that he brings. You know, we always prepare for a hard 12 rounds, closely fought, prepared to go to war kind of fight, you know, but we have prepared very diligently for this fight.
Is this the fight where, you know, Catterall finds out there's just such a huge gap between where you're at and the top of the Commonwealth level?
Well, this is what I intend to do, intend to show him, yeah. You know, so obviously on Saturday I'll be going out and looking and put on a nice stellar performance and a good boxing clinic and also a good solid performance, you know. So I'm looking to put on a real good show next week. I'm feeling in good form and in good shape, so yeah, can't wait.
You know, I know you can't get into the game plan too much with Ben Davison and Lee Wiley, but being that Catterall is a smart guy, a southpaw who likes to box, do you think we see the champion on the front foot in this fight a lot, being the aggressor?
You need to wait and see. You need to wait and see what comes, you know. You know, whatever he brings to the table, I can match and beat. So it's how Jack wants to approach this fight. I'm prepared for anything that he brings. I'm prepared for anything, you know. So we'll see how he decides to take on the fight. If he decides to take on a fight and fight fire by fire, that's fine with me. I know I can beat him at that. If he wants to stand and box, that's fine with me as well. I know I can beat him at boxing as well, you know. So I've got no fears of what he brings to the table, but I'm very well prepared and I've been watching him a lot.
What do you think, Josh, if he feels what he's in there with early, kind of starts the fight to go the distance, and do you have it in your mind at all to not just win but keep the momentum going and look impressive in winning? And how do you go about that if, like I said, early in the fight he decides to want to make it the distance and not exchange? And
well, if that's what he decides, that's what he decides. I'll be keeping the belts. You know, if he decides he goes into that mode, then that's game over. You know, but I don't think he's that kind of character. I don't think he's going to come in and try and go in and survive the rounds. He's going to come and try and win this fight. He's been in a mandatory challenger position for a couple of years. He's been longing for a world title fight. You know, and he's been waiting very patiently in the shadows for this opportunity. And he's not only getting a chance at the WBO, he's getting a chance at all the belts. So trust me, he's going to come and make sure that he does everything to go back to England with the belts. You know, he's got a young family to feed and take care of and provide for. So that's all going to be in his mind as well. So he's coming with determination on his side to better his and his family's life.
You know, last time you were in a fight like this, you got the knockout in one round heading into the Ramirez fight. In this fight, is it matter to you to not just win, but continue to look impressive to keep momentum, or is it just about walking away with the
the win's most important, but I've been working on putting on, I think we're going to put on a good performance. You know, I think we're going to put on a good display. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I can get him out of there. You know, I really wouldn't be surprised if the fight doesn't last the distance. But it's not something that I'm going to be going out and looking for. But as long as I'm performing and doing things that we've been practicing, the fight will go my way.
Is this going to be your last fight at 140 pounds, Josh?
I don't know. I don't think so. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens, what challenges arise after the fight. You know, so get through next week is all I'm thinking about. You know, so we'll see what happens and we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it and what challenges present themselves and we'll take it from there.
In one fight, you know, you were, it looked like you really wanted, looking forward, was Terence Crawford. What do you think of that fight? And obviously, what's happened since then, the falling out of Top Rank?
Well, yeah, obviously it puts a little bit of an obstacle in the way with things, but I still think it's a very doable fight. We're both, sort of in the same house, so it looks like it can be made. I think it can be made, and I think it's a mouth-watering fight, but I'm not thinking about anything else than Jack Catterall at the minute. It's the only thing that's on my mind. If I don't get past Jack Catterall, none of these fights happen. So I'm not here to talk about any other fight than Jack Catterall.
But that is still a fight you would want after Catterall.
Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't want to fight Terence Crawford? It's a great fight. I'm a fighting man, and I would fight absolutely anybody. So I think I'm in this game to challenge myself against the best, all comers. I believe Terence Crawford is one of the best in the sport. I believe I'm one of the best in the sport. And I believe in the best fighting the best to see who's the top dog, and it's a fight that I would love to take on.
Did him, I know all eyes are on Catterall, but did him breaking away from Top Rank kind of throw a wrench into your plans? Because it seemed like business was done at 140.
No, really. No, listen, no, because my business isn't done at 140. I've got next week to take care of. So I'm not thinking about fucking Terence Crawford. I'm thinking about Jack Catterall. That's all I'm thinking about. If I don't beat Jack Catterall, that he's then in my position. So it's been in one ear and out the other. When people ask me this, I've been asked this question about 100 times, and I'm sick of answering it because you all think that it's a foregone conclusion that I'm just going to turn up and win the fight. Jack Catterall's a hungry fighter. He's 26-0. He's a very skilled fighter, and he's determined to win this fight, to better his and his family's life and go on and be in my position for these big fights. So I'm done talking about Terence Crawford. It comes in one ear and goes out the other. I've got absolutely no interest in what Terence Crawford's doing at the minute. I'm focusing on myself.
Yeah, you sound disrespected for Jack. It almost sounds like.
No, I'm not. I don't give a fuck about Jack Catterall either. He's coming and trying to take what I've got, and what I've worked so hard for, and that's my job to make sure that he doesn't get it. It's my job to make sure that he doesn't get these belts, and that's what he's going to try and do. So at the minute, I don't give a fuck about Terence Crawford. He's on his own path. I'm on my own path, and I don't care about Jack Catterall either. All I care about is beating him up and winning and keeping the belts.
And don't give a fuck about Spence Ugas either, I assume.
I don't give a fuck about anybody else a part of the fight next week.
Well, Josh, I appreciate your honesty. I always do. But just to close on that, we can get into, we want to see Josh maybe fight this fight or that fight, but just how do you avoid all that and not run into what like Teofimo did with George Kambosos? How do you go about that, Josh?
Well, I've just explained it in the last question. I'm focused, and I know Jack is determined and has been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, and he's going to be doing everything in his power to come the underdog win again. That's what he's want to do. He wants to make history to become the first English person to do it, become undisputed world champion. And it's my job to make sure he doesn't do it, and it's my job to make sure that I get a successful job and I can go ahead and then start planning these fights that you're talking about. But right now, I am not thinking about any of that. I'm thinking about Jack Catterall and making a successful defence.
What's the best thing as a fighter about Jack Catterall?
I think he's a very good all-rounder. I think that he does everything really well. Does everything well, but not one thing exceptionally well. He's a good all-round fighter with good timing, good boxing ability, and he looks like he punches pretty heavy-handed as well. So I think I've got a task ahead of me, but it's one that I'm fully confident of winning.
And just curious, Josh, man, how was sparring for this camp? Because I know some champions, they're 10 times better on fight night than they are in the gym, and then some guys are great in the gym. How does that go with you in camp, Josh?
Yeah, everyone's been great. Everyone's been good. Everyone's been good. I picked up obviously a black eye. I guess why you're asking that's because I picked up a black eye. You can't go into the water without getting wet. I got hit with a jab, but it was the thumb with the jab. It hit me in the eye and it gave me a black eye. So apart from that, everything's been great, you know. So everything's good. Just because you get a black eye doesn't mean nothing isn't going well.
I misheard you, Josh. I thought you said we got a black guy. I thought you meant for sparring, and I for stuff. You know, you got a black eye from.
Yeah, and sparring. Yeah.
You got guys taking team shots at the champ.
No, well, listen, you get caught with a jab, you get poked in the eye, you're going to get a black eye, aren't you? So, but yeah, it's been going well. Preparations is going really well, and I'm performing good in the gym. And you know, I can't wait till next week. You know, I just all the training's done. It's been a long camp, been a long preparation. We know what's going to work in this fight, and we know that I'm going to get a good result. And I just can't wait to get in there next week now and get the job done.
And Josh, you know, usually a gentleman, but like we saw it earlier, just now in this interview, that Josh Taylor edge that showed up against Ramirez, and where does that come from, man? And why is that there?
I don't know. Just the way I'm built. It's just the way I'm put together. It's just the way I am. You know, just the way I am. You know, I'm calm, cool, calm, relaxed, and collected. But I can go at the finger switch. I can switch at the like the weather. I can change like the weather. You know, so I've got that switch there, and the bad side, the dark side, the killer instinct in me, just on the edge all the time, ready to go. It's just the way I am.
Anything else you want to say, man, before February 26th, before you get out of here, to boxing fans, people who are going to be watching the fight?
Yeah, just thank you to everybody for the support, and you know, I now know that I'm sort of acquiring a fan base in the USA now as well, and so I just want to say thank you to all the new fans, and I hope to keep entertaining you, and I hope to be back over in stateside at some point in the future and entertaining you all again and being involved in massive fights. So yeah, thanks for the support, and it's going to be a good journey. So thank you.